So this is Baruch here. I'm at the Tikkun elevator Kollel, and I'm going to go on with the story of our king. Who is the real leader of the Jewish people? So push comes to shove, we get squeezed. We start looking into this and saying these praises. So the story continues in the life of our and times of King David. And Saul spoke to Jonathan his son and to all his servants to put David to death. But Jonathan, Saul's son, desired David very much. He loved him. And Jonathan told David, saying, Saul, my father, seeks to put you to death. And now beware now in the morning, and you shall remain in secret and hide. And I shall come out and stand beside my father in the field where you are, and I shall speak on your behalf to my father, and if I see something I shall tell you. And Jonathan spoke well of David to Saul, his father, and he said to him, Let not the king sin against his servant David, because he has not sinned against you, because his deeds are very good towards you. And he put his life in his hand, and he slew the Philistine. The Lord wrought a great salvation for all Israel. You saw and rejoiced. Why then should you sin against innocent blood, to put David to death for no reason? And Saul listened to Jonathan's voice, and Saul swore, and the Lord, as the Lord lives, he will not be put to death. And Jonathan called David, and Jonathan told him all these things. And Jonathan brought David to Saul. It was before him as yesterday before. And there was war again. David went out and battled the Palestinians, the Philistines. I dealt a great blow upon them, and they fled from before him. And an evil spirit from the Lord was upon Saul, who was sitting in his house with his spear in his hand, and David was playing with his hand. And Saul attempted to pin David. He tried to pin him to the wall with the spear, but he slipped away from before Saul, and Saul drove the spear into the wall, but David fled and escaped on that night. And Saul sent messengers to David's house to guard him and to put him to death in the morning. Michal, his wife, told David, saying, If you do not flee for your life tonight, tomorrow you will be put to death. And Michal let David down through the window, and he fled and he escaped. Michal took the teraphim and put them into the bed. Now, teraphim are idols. Maybe they're statues. Let me see if they have anything on this. Not that I can see. And Michal took the teraphim and put them into the bed. And she put a goatskin at its head, and covered it with a garment. And Saul sent messengers to take David, and she said, He is ill. And Saul sent the messengers to see David, saying, Bring him up to me in the bed, that I would put him to death. The messengers came down, and behold, the teraphim was in the bed, and the goatskin was at its head. And Saul said to Michal, Why have you thus deceived me? Sent this to his daughter, and sent my enemy away, so that he escaped. Michal said to Saul, He said to me, Let me go. Why should I put you to death? Now David had fled and escaped, and he came to Samuel to Ramah, and told him all that Saul had done to him. And he and Samuel went on and stayed in Naioth. And it was related to Saul, saying, Behold, David is in Naioth in Ramah. And Saul sent messengers to take David, and he saw the company of prophets prophesying, and Samuel was standing as head over them. And the Spirit from God was upon Saul's messengers, and they too prophesied. And they told Saul, and he sent other messengers, and they too prophesied. And Saul continued to send third messengers, and they too prophesied. And he all went to Ramah, and he came to the great pit which is the Seku. And he asked and said, Where are Samuel and David? And one said, Behold, at Naioth in Ramah. And he went there, to Naioth in Ramah, and even upon him was a spirit from God. And he went along prophesying, until he came to Naioth in Ramah. And he too stripped off his clothes, and he too prophesied before Samuel. And he fell naked all that day and all that night. Therefore they say, Is Saul also among the prophets? That's another chapter. This is Baruch Fleischman, and this is the Tikkun Elevator Kollel.